There are calls tonight from the Mayor of Gisborne, along with one of the major trucking operators in and out of the city and the region, to make State Highway 2 through the Waioeka Gorge more secure. The gorge has been closed since the weekend when a slip brought 7,000 cubic metres of rock and debris across the road. Weatherell Transport says the closure will not only add 3 hours to a truck driver's journey each way, but also have a significant financial impact. I asked CEO Steve Weatherell what his company is transporting.
Fresh fruit and produce. Our biggest customer is leader brand produce, so there's a lot of salad and broccoli, lettuce, etc. So at the moment we're transporting everything. We're going via Napier, so we go Gisborne south for 2.5, 3 hours, and then turn up and come over the Napier Taupo and back up to Auckland and Tauranga that way.
And what's that adding to your trip?
It's adding a good 2.5, 3 hours to the trip. It's more to the point was generally with most of the stuff most of the freight we move backwards and forwards to Gisborne and out of Gisborne to Auckland is our guys are based in Tauranga, so the trucks normally would come from Tauranga to Gisborne during the day or in the early hours of the morning, drop off a load and go back to Tauranga again, and another driver would jump in the truck and take it to Auckland and then load back out of Auckland. So we supply both the supermarket chains into Gisborne here as well. So we'd have on average day 8 to 10 units going each way each day. So at the moment we've got them going around the long way. So the consequences of that is we end up using twice as much equipment to do the same job. We have guys living away from home, so instead of Taupo being their normal swap over point, instead of Tauranga being their swap over point, they end up swapping over in Taupo, or living away from home altogether and going end to end and stopping at either Auckland or Gisborne. So it just depends on the run and who they're working for on the day, or how much we've got to shift on the day. So it's a huge extra cost in accommodations and trying to keep everybody happy, trying to keep the supermarket shelves full in Gisborne and the produce moving from the growers in here in Gisborne.
Of course, these things happen, and New Zealand is a country in which weather events affect roads all the time. But the Waioeka Gorge is starting to develop a track record for having slips and being closed, isn't it?
Yes, it has. And I mean, we had situations last year where it wasn't only closed, the Waioeka wasn't closed, but we had a weather bomb towards Napier as well, and that closed the road south. So actually Gisborne was cut off for a couple of days last year, both directions. The Waioeka Gorge, since 2012, I suppose, was the big one. We were out for 5 or 6 weeks with it closed in 2012, and since then, every year, we've had closures on a fairly regular basis every year, where we've had a few days out. This one here is looking like going on to at least the end of the week at this stage. I guess it's the don't know factor. It's the hard one for us, because we can't actually plan what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. We just know that it's likely to be closed until the end of the week. We could get to the end of the week and they turn around and say it might be closed for another 4 or 5 days. We wouldn't really know.
And the thing is, Gisborne is a region that needs some luck. And what luck it has in terms of its ability to grow magnificent produce is monetised by its ability to get that produce to market efficiently and quickly.
Yeah, of course it is. So everything we produce today out of here was picked today, and it's on a truck tonight. It's in your supermarkets tomorrow morning. That's quite simple, and we do that all over the country every night out of Gisborne here, in large quantities. It's a huge food bowl around here, and that's what we're good at this part of the world. But if this was to turn into a Manama 2 Gorge type scenario where this Waioeka closed for an extended length period, that would seriously jeopardise the chances of Gisborne competing around the country at all. That's the reality.
Have you been surprised? Now, I'm not having a go at anyone here, but given that the Waioeka Gorge, as you said, was closed for 5 or 6 weeks in 2012, and given that there have been slips and closures regularly since then, have you been surprised by the extent of long-term remediation efforts? In other words, the efforts made to keep this road open?
The efforts are being made, but I guess the difference about now, we've been going in and out of here for close on 30 years. The difference is 10 years ago probably, they would have bulldozed the track over the top of it, and we would have kept on moving, and they would have probably opened it up for so many hours a day, morning and night, so we could get produce and freight back into Gisborne. Whereas the world we live in today requires them to get geotechs in to check it all out, and it's a very health and safety focused environment we live in now. So the ability for us to go into that gorge now is just not there. I mean, we used to go and sit and camp by the slip and wait for them to clear it, and we'd carry on through. That doesn't happen these days. The road's closed. We don't go anywhere near it.
Is there a plan B we're missing? Is there a way that either that route can be made safer, more secure, or is there another route we're missing, or is Gisborne always going to be stuck in this kind of situation where it's a gorgeous place, but by golly, it's hard to get in and out of?
Yeah, well, we've got to put it in perspective. If you're talking we're doing sort of 8 or 10 a day each day, for 365 days a year, the fact that it's out for 4 or 5 days a year on a percentage basis is not huge, but it's certainly disruptive, and it messes up a lot of people's lives and a lot of people's ability to get their produce to market on time. And that's what we fight with now, is managing to keep our schedules going with adding the extra time to go around the long way, etc., etc.
Steve Weatherell, who is the CEO of a trucking company of the same name.